What's going on, college football fans? We need to talk about last night. Stick around. This is way offsides. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome into Way Offside, your favorite Alabama talk show here on YouTube. We don't have time for intros today, so we're jumping right on with the elephant, baby. Let's in the section below. If you're new here, this is Way Offside. Everything everybody else does. Fast. And just a good time overall. If you're new here, please go ahead, like, subscribe. If you're watching and you haven't done this yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. You won't miss a thing. Leave me a roll tide in the comment section below. Let me know where you're watching from. Alabama football. Whew. It's a weird time to be an Alabama fan. The Tide are doing what they need to do. However, they're not doing it without almost killing us all. I have taken baby aspirin before football games now just because you don't know what you're going to get. However, we're not going to sit here and pretend like Alabama didn't have these kind of games under Nick Saban. I remember a specific game where Nick Saban went on a tirade after the game because Alabama only beat a 3-3 Arkansas team 14-13. These games happen. Not only do these games happen, these games serve as a foundational building block when you get into other games down the road that are close. Now, there's a lot of stuff that happened last night that we need to talk about. A lot of things. And we're going to start by saying this. Let me get a drink of my drink here. Hold on. 2024's Alabama team on the road would have lost the game yesterday. That team would not have shown the grit and resiliency that Alabama did, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to go ahead and win this one on a night and / afternoon where nothing was going right for Alabama's offense. The Tide, the scrappy Tide, find a way to win. Now, here's the thing. Let's start by saying this as well. The media narrative, the Big Ten narrative, which, by the way, I don't know why Ohio State fans are so interested in what we're doing right now. They are, man, what an insecure bunch. You're ranked number 1 in the country. Why are you worried about what Alabama's doing? I know why, because you don't want them in the playoff. But anyway, I wonder why that is. I digress. Alabama pulls off a gutsy 29-22 victory over Williams-Brice Stadium to a team that is now 3-5. Now, what I want you to remember about this South Carolina team is I'm not making excuses for how bad they are, but preseason, this was a team who was extremely hyped by everybody who knows football. And South Carolina has been dealing with the injury bug, something fierce this season, and it is responsible for some of their losses. This is a team who has played really good football teams close, even despite their injuries, but they returned a pretty much healthy offensive line in this game, as well as they got some defensive guys back for this game, and it showed up. Not to mention you're bringing in, Alabama. So what's going to happen? They're going to play to their highest level. That's got to be really frustrating for coaches. Your team plays its best game against Alabama, and then, can't withstand that. Now, also keep in mind, those who are making comparisons to Indiana for whatever reason, again, insecurity. Alabama came off a 4-game stretch against top 20 opponents, 2 of which are in the top 10. The Tide was exhausted. You could see it on Alabama's face last night. I could see it at the end of the Tennessee game. They just looked exhausted. Thank God for bye weeks, right? But it showed up. It showed up, especially on the offensive line. Now, both tackles played terribly for most of the game yesterday. Caden Proctor on one side, Formby on the other, did not play well. But the middle of the line was getting blown up too. Some of this I attribute to just straight up exhaustion. Some of it I attribute to that mentality that Kalen DeBoer and his staff are trying to fight off, right? That complacency and the The way this team kind of teeters when they're on the road. They like to flirt with disaster. And they flirted with it yesterday big time. They took it out on a date, bought it dinner, and took it back home and didn't use protection. Sorry. But seriously, I mean, Alabama did everything it could to lose the game yesterday and still won. Now, towards the end of the game, Bama started to kind of figure some things out. Wasn't throwing towards the great, fun, awesome, right? That's good. But the story of this game really is Alabama's defense. Obviously, a lot of people are going to talk about the offensive inefficiencies. You can't have that at some point in time. It's going to bite you in the butt. But Alabama's defense played rather well. Again, Alabama gives up more yards than they gain. Just like in the Tennessee game, this is going to have to change. But some of this is because of time of possession. I feel like South Carolina tried to do what Alabama did to Vanderbilt, keep the ball out of Ty Simpson's hands, and it worked. Went 3 and out several times. And I started to stress, man. I'm not going to lie. I was stressing out about the defense getting gassed, but they showed up. They gave up one busted touchdown play the entire game, right? And then the other touchdown came off of a strip sack. Now, South Carolina puts up 333-yard total offense. That doesn't look good on paper, but when you look at the fact that they had that many yards and you held them to 22 points in today's college football game, that's pretty dang good. They held them to 222 passing yards. Not bad, not great, but not bad. But here's where Alabama really won the game. They held this team to 111 yards. Now, who is South Carolina's leading rusher? Lenore Sellers. They held him to 67 yards rushing. That's pretty good for that kind of quarterback because historically Alabama struggled with this kind of quarterback. This is why, personally, right now, like I don't want to play A&M in Atlanta. Texas A&M is the kind of team that's going to give Alabama fits. But with these mobile quarterbacks, Bo Prabula, Diego Pavia, so far, Alabama's shown that they can scheme to slow it down. Maybe not stop it, but slow it down and give their offense enough time to, score some points. Now, that started to stress me out because Alabama's offense kept going 3 and out. The defense was exhausted. But they did their daggum job. They did their job that entire game from start to finish. Of course, it's college football. There's going to be a couple plays that don't go your way every game. But Alabama just kept punching defensively. They kept punching back figuratively and then Deontay Lawson quite literally. And that's how they won the game. They just needed a moment. Deontay Lawson provides that moment for the Tide. They get the turnover. Tim Keenan's laying on a ball and doesn't even realize it. Imagine getting a fumble recovery and you don't even know it. But Keenan, and Deontay Lawson both combine on that play to give Alabama a fighting chance. Well, what happens when Alabama gets a fighting chance? They capitalize. I tell you guys all the time, college football is pretty predictable, right? When you're watching a team who is trying to upset somebody big, right? They're trying to, in a 2-minute situation, right? They're trying to get the upset. 9 out of 10 times that quarterback that's driving down the field is going to throw an interception to end the game, right? I mean, we've seen this over and over and over again. It's very predictable. In this sense, the predictability of what was going on was all leaning South Carolina's favor. Even when Alabama recovered the fumble, it was kind of like, that's great, but what's the offense going to do with it? Well, let's talk about Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb was questionable, to say the least, most of the game. I think maybe he panicked a little bit, did not put Ty Simpson and his offense in the best position. Alabama is without two of its favorite wide receivers. Running game's not working again, which they have to try to figure that out. It is a big problem that's going to bite them in the ass down the road. It almost did yesterday. But anyway, Ryan Grubb panics. He realizes, just like the team, like, this is it. Something has to change right here, right now. and he calls a beautiful drive. Beautiful drive, and then that 2-point conversion, that play, absolutely immaculate. Bama scores. Ties it up, right? Then Kalen DeBoer, which kudos to him, does a fantastic job with clock management, timeouts, gives his offense enough time to get the ball again, go down, score, and win it. So, in 2024, everything would have completely fallen apart. It felt like it was going to. It felt like Alabama was headed that way, right? Disastrous. I think most of us, after the turnover on the kick, the ball bounces off a block. Everybody's just kind of like, okay, that's it. We just accept it. We're a 2-loss team. We don't play well on the road, which we don't. But the difference being that the staff, this team's captains, this leadership on this team, strapped their laces up tight, did not back down, and punched back. That's what Alabama did not do in week 1. That's what Alabama did not do on the road last year at Oklahoma. Now, looking ahead, I guarantee you that Auburn game is going to be a very similar game as what Alabama experienced today. They're going to have to figure out how to get the ball out of Ty Simpson's hands very quickly. Alabama's still going to play 2 really good pass rushes in Oklahoma and Auburn. It's up to Ryan Grubb moving forward. But Grubb figured it out towards the end of the game. That's the thing about this staff I've noticed, whether it be on defense or offense. Womack and Grubb, obviously, in-game adjustments are important. They're part of it. But, man, it really does take them a while sometimes to get it figured out in a live game. But he did. He did, and it put the offense in a position to go and win this one. And it was beautiful because immediately you understand that, yes, Alabama's offense looked terrible. I think they looked worse than they did in week 1, most of that game yesterday. But, again, how is this team different? They punched back. They didn't just lay down, sit on the sideline crying, feeling sorry for themselves with no energy. Domo over he was on with Herman Rodge last night. He was at the game. He said in that fourth quarter, they're playing music. It's blaring through the stadium. And Alabama sideline is going nuts, dancing up and down, bouncing up and down. He said he felt in that moment, hey, Alabama's going to do what they need to do, to get this done. And he was right. They absolutely did. Then he goes and taunts South Carolina fans who were about to rush the field. But don't let the Big Ten haters get you. I think his name's Kyle, whoever it is that posted it. Obviously, right now, Indiana's ranked higher than Alabama. They were defeated. They should be. I'm fine with that. But if we really want to compare apples to oranges here, it doesn't hold up because the samples aren't the same. Alabama, again, has played 4 top 20 opponents in the last 4 weeks, 2 of which are top 10 teams, one of which has a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback, one of which now, and then they go to South Carolina. And this South Carolina team is not the same South Carolina team that's been playing the past couple of weeks. They get their offensive line back. You've got the factor of playing Alabama at home and wanting, and let's not act like Lenore Sellers is a bum. The guy is going to be a first-round draft pick. So, potentially the first quarterback overall. Right. That's not happening up in the Big Ten. Indiana has played, I think their last 4 opponents have like a combined record of like 1 and something. It's ridiculous. They're playing terrible teams, and it's going to show up in the playoff. Teams that don't have a game like what happened today or yesterday to Alabama, when they do get exposed in the playoffs, they don't know how to respond. That's why that game was so important. Also, it helps Alabama understand what they're going to face when they go to the Iron Bowl this year. Kalen DeBoer's never been to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Say what you want to about that place. It'll be rocking. Doesn't matter if they lose another game or if they lose every other game from here until there. They beat Alabama their season's a success. So that's some of what happened last night. Ty Simpson played possibly his worst game in an Alabama uniform so far, and he still threw for over 250 and 2 touchdowns. Did not throw an interception. This is a very opportunistic defense. I told you guys leading into the week, South Carolina is very good at taking the ball away, just like Alabama is. That showed up, right? But in the end, the Tide was just a better team, and they found ways to win. They did not lay down, and that is what has changed about this team moving forward. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. You've got wide receivers dropping passes. You've got like untimely offside penalties. You've got, kicks that are touching players. Everything that could go wrong went wrong for Alabama to lose this game. And these kids fought and clawed their way back, and we should be very proud of that. Obviously, there's some issues. We're not going to pretend like there's not, right? But we knew that. But again, bye week, Bama needed this kind of game to kind of maybe stay humbled, but also keep their intensity up. Bye week is here. Rest, get better. Bring on LSU. Now, Chad, I want to hear what your observations were, obviously, for the game. So please leave them in the comment section below. While you're there, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the things, because we want to be on this journey with you, because we love all of you. We love you guys. You guys are fantastic. So as always, you know the drill. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, march down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.